Welcome to the new episode of Modern IT Asset Management, Surviving Vendor Audits in the AI Cloud. Why is what has happened? No, right. So, uh, so today we had a change of format. So we were not going with the, probably there would be some 5 segments in which probably we will go ahead and we'll discuss on those topics over here. There's a different format which we have discussed for today. It's more of a debate. So in this episode, probably today we take in this episode there would be some no presentations, no prepared answers, which we are going to challenge assumptions over there, right? So as you know, software audits are evolving rapidly over the period of time, and the cloud has changed licensing. So in a lot of compliance parameters which have been, which was not there last 5 years back or probably 2 or 3 years back also, and many organizations still operate in, audits are the annual events. So the today debate is: are we actually prepared for the software audits in the AI and cloud era, or we are still lingering around with the old approach? So we need to understand that, right? And there might be something which we are actually creating new risk, or we are trying to solve old ones. So that kind of things we need to understand now. So for this, I would like to invite, probably my panel members who have joined this podcast. So we have the SAM and Audit Governance Leader, Anupama, and we have the second member is Sandeep, Cloud and FinOps Expert, and the third one is Software Licensing Specialist, Shubham. Then we have the Risk and Compliance Executive, Tabassum, and then we have the final speaker, the AI and ITAM Automation Leader, Sweta. Welcome on board all the panel members.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paramji.
Thank you.
So we'll start directly with the debate. So, the debate topic would be: are vendor audits necessary or not? So let's start with the conversation question. Probably it's more of a controversial question also. Are vendor audits generally about compliance, or they have become revenue generation exercise? So I will hand over the mic to the panel members so they can give their point of view. Hand over the mic to the panel members.
Yeah. Hello, Param. So when you said like it's a controversial topic, so rather than saying a controversial topic, I think it's a right and an interesting topic to start this podcast. So let's be completely candid here. For me, compliance is like a Trojan horse, but revenue is the actual driver. So, getting an unexpected vendor audit notice, exactly getting a Slack message from a CEO or the CISO level saying, like, do we have a 5 minutes? So, what happens? Your heart instantly drops and you start scrolling through your brain, like, what was the last email I sent to him and where did I do wrong? So, now to be in a fair, I completely respect the vendor rights to protect their intellectual property because they're the one who built the software and they should get paid for it. But let's look at the reality. What I have seen is vendors love to wrap these orders in the noble flag of compliance and collaboration. And nowadays, even they don't call them as audits anymore and they call it as friendly license review or optimization assessment. But what that friendly license review is always happens in vendors' financial quarter end. That's little confuses me, and I think according to me, it isn't a coincidence. For me, it's a sales pipeline strategy, and according to me, the compliance and the audit can be a very simple. It can be which can be a transparent in a real dashboard and private, but they don't. So it's like a inspection, traditional audit inspection, but it's an expensive seek where I think like vendors always brings a metal detector. So this is my opinion on the audit, Param.
Anupama. So anyone from the
I
panel can challenge it? Yeah.
I little bit on other side from Anupama's point of view. So vendor audits are, from my opinion, are very much necessary because internally organizations don't say too much of aggressive on the license position, reviewing their licenses, contracts, reviewing their internal compliance posture, or knowing what softwares we procured, what are deployed, what are allocated, what employees are using, what are not being used. So this whole exercise, if I, as a CIO of a company, leave on the SAM team itself to review, to deploy, then it is totally internal. It may have that level of energy or it may not have that level of energy. So, having the vendor audits makes my organization proactively stand out from knowing where my license position is, where do I stand. So I have little bit different opinion that yes, there should be vendor audits, but on same side, the organization should also be ready with their internal analysis, internal reconciliations at all the time. So it triggers the organizations to stand out from a compliance perspective and know the license position in an actual manner, not in a lazy manner, not in a reactive manner, but in a proactive manner. So from my perspective, vendor audits are necessary.
I
Adding,
think I'll agree on that point. It is necessary. And also, I kind of say this as the real problem is not I mean, it is the organization. I think it's not the audits. So, why it is coming as a surprise for the companies, the audits? We have everything visible around us. I mean, we have the data, we have the portal, um, and the data is visible for the vendors and for organizations as well. But why are we surprised a lot on the audits? So we should not be. So if we are using the right tool and right analysis on the tools, and we have the right data, I think vendor audits are not uh, the surprises anymore. And yeah, the other part, when they say it is more of a revenue recovery, I agree on that part as well, because in reality, many organizations, they don't even realize they are non-compliant. So that's when vendor comes in picture at that time, then it is a surprise. So that's my point.
I have one point to add here. Like, as compliance perspective, yes, vendor audits are definitely necessary, absolutely necessary. The real issue is not whether the audits are necessary, it's whether organizations maintain continuous compliance. Company with mature governance see audit as validation exercise, whereas few companies don't, those who have weak governance, they experience this vendor audit as a financial shock.
I also want to add one point on this. I agree on with Tamasum what Sandeep is saying, and also want to from what we are seeing from Anupa's perspective. But I think that
Sure.
is again that yeah, hello.
Here to you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, you were saying something. Okay. So what I was trying to say, like, is it's all about the intention of these vendors, like how they are doing it, right? They have some kind of sword in their hand, and it depends like how they are going to slay your head on this, right? Some are using it as to give you compliance, some are doing it as a methodology to earn some revenue. So I think it's always in mid between, like like they are to how they the intention of a particular vendor is and how you are treating it, right? Some are treating it as a compliance. Okay, you are going to be compliant. They will say like they will sell you as a compliance activity, and but again, some are using it as a tool to generate their revenues. So it also depends on their intention. That's what I think.
The panel members have given their viewpoint, and I think even the audience can relate to it. They know that how audit is actually hitting them directly. Probably it's a revenue generation driven by the OEMs, or it's a necessity. From my perspective, it is a necessity, although it is also revenue driven from the OEMs. So you need to be very careful, and you need to have a correct, probably a governance model around that, so that you understand it more, briefly. Once there's some auditor, you should not be reactive to it. You need to be proactive towards it. So these are interesting points. I have, for the panel, there is one more question, on the same topic. Is so if you feel then there is a balance between the compliance and the commercial pressure. So it's open debate to all the panel on this.
Like I said, Param, at least I believe in this. That's always a balance between them, and again, that's depend on the intention of these vendors, these managers, how they are going to audit your organization, and they can swing anyway, right? Either they might be having their load regarding compliance, or maybe about the revenue. So it's always a balancing part, but again, depending on how these organizations going to reach out.
Even I agree with
So,
Shubham. For me, like the balance is always struck the moment to realize that the good governance is actually the best commercial leverage.
so if organization is compliant, then commercial balance would be automatically remain there. If organizations knows their posture, knows their necessity, knows their licenses where they are deployed, then commercial balance will automatically be there.
But Sandeep, we are now talking about the idle world, right? Which is not going to be possible very soon. The
Yeah,
changing atmosphere.
it is a
Yes.
continuous journey actually.
Process.
It's not a
Yes. Yes.
one time
One day. Yes.
exercise
So
that we can achieve. It is a continuous journey. So
continuation.
the key
Yeah.
word is stay awake always.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree on this one.
Don't go in sleeping mode that now vendor audits are done, publisher audits
Uh,
are done, so we can take rest for next 6 months. No, next
Yeah.
vendor will come, next
And
audit
then
will
what?
come.
What about the people who have night shift? They need to sleep, right?
Yeah. So it's
Uh,
better to do half of the night shift, not the graveyard shift.
Yeah,
okay.
it's an overlapping one. I think you should
Yeah.
go with that instead of the complete night shift. It's better to go the overlapping ones because yours
Yeah.
even you have early mornings onto that. So I am seeing some of the guests is trying to join. They had a separate link for the YouTube and LinkedIn to join. If someone is joining, you can direct them. They can come directly. I have the again link and give the links into the LinkedIn post also, so everyone can join from there directly at the YouTube channel. They can log into my channel and directly, uh, you know, come to this. Anyways, we do have an audience poll for this particular topic. I'll share across to while we're moving to the next segments. I'll share this audience poll to them, and then at the end of the day, we will see whether we are, audits are necessary governance or audits are mostly revenue driven. So even the audience can, get involved and they can give their opinions into that. So I will be sharing in the Mentimeter link next in the chat itself in few minutes, and then probably they can give their inputs. Okay, I think we are through on the first topic which we had taken with the panel members. So let's move to the second debate. Probably. So you feel now, see, audits are not only thing. There are a lot of change which has happened over the years. Couple of years, probably 7, 8 years. We don't have cloud visibility at that time. We are not into the SaaS module, right? And a lot of compliance like AWS, Azure has come into picture, and the licensing is quite complex for those. So my, probably that's the debate on the second topic is cloud, let's say compliance severe or a compliance nightmare, right? So 5 years ago, organization worried about on-prem license, right? Today, cloud dominates. Has cloud simplified the compliance or they made it harder? So that's my question to the panel.
Okay.
Anyone
So
can take it.
I'll take this one as a license specialist. So my opinion might not be liked by many of you, but again, so that's here it is. So cloud is absolutely a compliance nightmare if you're going to treat it like the previous old on-prem licenses, right? The saver narrative is marketing myth actually, which being sold by these vendors. And for me, on a license per se, cloud is always a nightmare because of these changing licenses strategy every now and then. So how they vendors have built a myth actually in compliance. Like vendors sell the cloud as a simplified consumption, right? Consumption based utopia. They will sell you as a, okay, this is the one time investment, and then you need not to manage your licenses. You are good to go. But then they come up with different kind of license metrics like consumption, like APIs, like integration, and then there is a more of a risk in built in actually. Then there is another thing which is called license portability trap, right? They will ask you to move from on-premise licenses to straightforward to the cloud deployment, and that changes everything. You have to train your employees. You have to ask them to be into totally new, different atmosphere. That is again a concern for any organization who is facing this. Then there is one thing which is called multi-cloud multiplier, right? When you run workload across Azure, whether it's AWS or maybe Google Cloud, you aren't just dealing with one set of rules. You have to understand all the cloud rules and then get them to one platform. And that is a nightmare for any SAM guy who is there, like at this licensing, who is managing those, right? The another jargon which is there, like it's BYOL. I think this single word is even enough for any SAM guy to get in a nightmare, right? The complexity of bring your own licenses on different level. Oracles allows you to get your licenses, but to some restrictions, and those restrictions are written in a very fine print, and those are very tough to identify. So at least as a license expert, as a seeing cloud as a licensing way, it's a nightmare, at least for me, or maybe the users like me who are in there in market, like struggling with the licensing part. So I always stay with like the opposite side of it, like it's a nightmare. Maybe it's a solution for the developers or maybe other part of the world, but again, with respect to licensing, it's always a nightmare.
I totally differ here with Shubham.
Yeah.
In my experience, cloud is has been always a savior, if not 100% yes in some terms, to track it properly through the web based. If I am using on-prem solution all the time, which I was using, my organizations were using, very difficult to track, then the most difficult part was to unallocate the license. Unallocation can be done through a catalog, but what about the uninstallation? Do I have to chase every time local IT teams to uninstall these software and then add back to my pool, procurement pool? No, this has simplified. In my case, this has simplified actually. And Shubham, if a vendor decide to go on cloud, is there any option that you can do, or you have to develop your own product to utilize in your on-prem environment? So there is no option in some cases if company publisher has decided to go on cloud, and then tracking becomes easy, that I log in into the admin portal of Adobe or Microsoft for that matter, and I can see the transparency increased for my organization. Obviously, at other side, if cost is being increased, then I have to be more conscious about utilization and allocating of those assets, those software assets. I remember in the past days when these allocation of licenses were totally internal on-prem license, anyone will come to you. I need a Visio plan tool. Now I
Mhm.
can say, why? All the features, 90% of the feature I would say are available in Visio Online M365, which comes with Office itself. So cloud
Mhm.
made at least my organization's life little easy to track the finances, to track the spend, to track the licenses, to reallocate or to deallocate or to surrender case. So it saved my organization resources, and on other side money as well.
But again, you are more focused on Sandeep, like how you manage the licenses, right? But there is a lot of leakage when you move into cloud, right? So Microsoft is one of the simplest form, I guess, like where we are talking like, okay, you have licenses, you give Visio and everything, but you are paying the same amount, at least not the same amount, but they are almost like 5 to 6 times of what you were paying previously. So like you mentioned that we don't have any option, so that's what I am saying, this monopoly of this organization is always there, right? They can push us to any extent. If you are going
Only
to
make
Azure
your
as
SAM team more robust to track is the only way, actually, because
so
I can't take
I mean,
impact on my business.
now obviously we are doing our best to track those things. Actually, I think even you are trying your best, but again, the what I'm trying to say, the that changing environment now and then, right? At least they should be coming with, okay, this is a particular license rule when which we are going to follow at least for next 5 years, right? Same happened with on-prem, like we were in on-prem era for at least 10 years, but in cloud era it's always changing. You woke up on next Saturday and you will see, okay, Microsoft has changed their licensing rule for Copilot. They have come up with E5 with new features and everything. So that changing world has a constraint for us as a SAM team, like okay, how to track those licenses, how to accumulate those leakage which is going to happen. So when new thing comes in and everybody's like, okay, I need Eve 7, and then that's a challenge for us, like how to maintain those inventory in a
So
place.
I remember when Microsoft, Adobe, Oracle used to come at my locations to audit the environment, and they
Mhm.
were bringing their own files to run on the system. Like Map tool is one example, and they were finding the ghost installations, which even my ITT, my environment was not aware. So I
Yes,
was willing to get rid of that situation. And now
but
with
that is the
cloud,
case
it
now
is
as well.
possible.
Cloud as well, cloud is also like for Oracle, they have their own tool, है ना? You don't have access to LMS. They are again
But
going
still,
to run
I
their
can
script,
see.
and is still the outcome you can see at that time as well on prem also, when they are saying output is going to be shared with you. But if you are saying you have those lists, no, Oracle still has their own lift, ILMT has their own script which is going to be run. No other tool can help you with that. Microsoft was always a lenient one because they have so many of category, they can push you wherever they want. If you are not okay with the server, they are going to push you on the license, OS license part. So Microsoft as an audit partner was always lenient because they have very large customer consumer base, right? But for Oracle, SAP, and IM, sorry, IMLT, the IBM, sorry, they all have very strict audit process, and they still follow their own process. They don't give you any script. They are going to run their own script. They will get your own data and then push back to you. But I agree with you, like I mean the future is cloud, and I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying, like there should be a process oriented, like their definition of all those things. These complex licensing should be validated, and once governance is well there, we should be following those governance process, right, to
Yeah,
understand those
and
how we are going to act.
yeah, and Sandeep and it's a good discussion. And what I the only difference what I see is like in the on premise, especially during the audit on premises, what happens is like we get an audit letter and there will be a surprise. They'll bring the script, everything. I agree. But now in the cloud, what happens is like it's immediate. It will the bill will be uh, it's like a based on a usage basis, right? So it's like on a monthly basis it will be added to your bill. That's the only difference I could see. And cloud is not a future anymore. We are living in the cloud.
That's a good one actually.
Yeah.
But again, what I'm saying, like in on-prem, you have the chance to defend yourself, right? In cloud, you can't. Right? Even this, there is a leakage, then you have to pay. So that's where I am coming from. That revenue leakage is again, it's here. You said what I was trying to say, right? You mentioned like, okay, it's a real time. You whatever you are using, because even though you don't want to use it, right? But there is a leakage because of the complexity. It was before as well on-prem, but at that time we get audited. We have our inputs. We can discuss with these vendors. But now they say, okay, this has been used. Now you have to pay. So that is what I was actually trying to say, which you collated in a one sentence. Thank you for that.
Even I have one sentence to add here.
Right.
Cloud is not a nightmare itself, but poor governance is.
So was my next question to you. Probably, I think Shweta has given a trademark on that. So, see, we had both the inputs, right? Someone is saying that cloud is a, probably it's a savior to us, and people are saying that it's the cloud license is so complex that it's very difficult for us to manage. And last moment, the OEMs come and do the audits, and it's very difficult to have the ELP version at that point of time. I see it is not a problem. I'm not thinking it's at a problem because it has to move on. Technology will evolve over the period of time, and definitely everyone has anticipated with this lot of cost involved on the on premises, server, whatever the infrastructure you're putting over there. So they were anticipating this that there might be something which is coming in the future, in which everything would be on the cloud. So it is there, and you have to bear with it. Now the question comes
Yeah.
whether you are ready for it or not. So that's what Shweta has implied, that you need to have a good governance around it, right? There should be a governance model put around it so that when the audit is happening, you should be ready at that point of time, not on a reactive approach, which I've said earlier also, right? So you need to work on the cloud licensing. Daily the technology is changing, and with AI into picture, even the cloud will get worse, right? So new applications on the AI would be coming. So that's my point to you, right? So we will not have any more discussion on the same topic. So there's a lot of seriousness has come because of this topic. So I'm just giving a little joke. I think just adding flavor to the probably the podcast. Like, so there's a joke in which probably it's mainly a FinOps team. Now the cloud team and the FinOps team work very together, right? It's a criteria they work towards. So the FinOps team that we have reduced cloud cost by 30%. So now AI coming into picture. So probably AI said actually I found another 20%. So CFO says now you promote the AI, then FinOps team say, can we at least keep our jobs? So understand that phenomena it has changing. So from 30% it has gone to 50%, and FinOps team are scared of their job. So such things are happening, and it's moving very rapidly, right? So probably during the sessions in that I will give more insights into that, and then I hand over the mic to Shubham or Sandeep to take it forward for the jokes, right?
Sure.
So, uh, so,
So
so we should. I'm
the
just
line
lightly.
the line I can remember from one Hindi movie, Chak De India, Badal pe paam hai, so we have to go to cloud. It's not possible.
But बादल में फिसल भी सकते हैं संदीप. Anyhow,
That's why Sam team is there. We are the pillars.
okay. So Uh, we'll move to the debate three. It's more, there is a dilemma in the organizations. When the audit team, there you get a notification to your senior management. You don't get it directly, right, for the SAM team. So it is coming to the senior most person, probably a CIO or person below that, either VP2 or something, and they just send you notification that this audit is coming. You be prepared for it, and at that time, everyone on is on their toes. They might come up with penalty or something. So there is a dilemma in which you don't know who's the owner of this audit, right? And I think most of the time the SAM team has been pushed that you are the front owner, and then go ahead with that. So my debate would be on probably the same debate is who owns the audit readiness, right? So it is a controversial, right? Because a lot of the CIs might be watching this podcast and later still will come back to me. How can you say that? So I'm ready for that. So, but still, so at this.
I have a yeah, I
Yeah,
have a initial different thought on this. Who is responsible? Not only CIO, but this is a famous keyword in SAM industry that every employee, whosoever is using that software, they are responsible for their own software utilization in proper manner. Not only CIO.
but usually no one take the responsibility. It comes back to us. So we will
Yes,
discuss in the
yes,
debate.
there comes the education to the employees.
Yeah, you send out of reminders to them. There is a lot of mailers which is happening, but still there's it is
and
not.
and and if you're not part of it, if you send more of a reminders, you are going to be a part of some of the escalation. Like these people are bugging me now and then.
So
So
in my case, I have applied reminders in form of cartoon, actually Tom and Jerry kind of thing. So it makes them feel good and catchy as well, eye catchy
in,
as
in
well.
in mine of the case, one of the team member had just sent a reminder to one of the CXO team, and he got fired.
So on the
Yeah,
So
that
lighter note,
happens
that
very, very often.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that is a different story, right?
So there is a concept of VIP and non-VIP users.
I know. I know.
so coming
After
to,
that, we changed our governance policies.
coming to your point of Sandeep, so there is one joke which I've found online on the same thing. So there is a we have a multi-cloud audit these days, which is happening. So the auditor comes and see how many cloud platforms do you use these days. So company gets three, and AI says officially three, unofficially 12, including the developer's personal credit card account, right? So that's how it is coming. So you said responsibility. So they don't do it. They have a credit card, they swap it and get the license. They have to do a development and they will get it anyhow. So they don't wait for SAM to approve and get the license directly over there. And it's happening in the major of the organization. It's not happening only
Yes.
in small organizations. All organizations facing the same problem.
So because
Shadow
of
IT
these
is everywhere.
because of these notorious peoples, we are still needed in the industry to control it
And
by
if I'm not
governance.
wrong, Sandeep, I think when I joined your group there, then only I came to know about the shadow IT thing. Actually, I was a part of the organization for long, but I was not aware like there is a term which is called shadow IT, right? And then I got to know this is also going to be happen, and this is where I learned about it. So
Right.
that
Yes.
was
Okay.
So
So
I always say to project manager that hardware asset management or SAM is not a project which has a start date, which has an end date as well. It has a start date, but it is a journey by measuring the key success factors.
Yeah, it's a continuous process.
Yeah, it's a continuous process. So let's get back to the debate. So I think my question would be to the panel would be who should own the software audit readiness? SAM team, procurement team, IT operations, finance, or the CA office? It's open for discussion to the speakers. Anyone want to take it up?
Initially, I would go with compliance team. There has to be a compliance team which continuously looks into the compliance posture, the usage of the softwares, blacklisting, whitelisting. So, from my perspective, it's the compliance team.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add something?
Yeah, and
From my
to add on to this
from
point,
my
yes, Tabasam,
I
please
think
go ahead.
one network probably that was from you. Right? Okay. Let's go with that.
okay. So, as per my point of view, audit readiness cannot belong to a single person or single department. It's a joint effort from SAM team, IT operation teams who manage deployment, and procurement team who actually manage the procurement and contracts. And again, finance team, they finance, like, financial exposure are with them. And then security, those who manage control over the exposure. So, or therefore, audit readiness should be governed by executive steering committee, by CIO or CTO group, where SAM will be acting as a operational coordinator. So it's a joint effort. It's not like a single team can own the overall audit.
So, Tabassum, you told about responsibilities lies with many teams, but what about the accountability
Y-
if audit gets failed?
It's a joint effort. As I said, it's a joint effort. So SAM team will be acting as a operational coordinator who will coordinate, who will be doing that coordination, but accountability will be with the governance executive team, either CIO or CTO team.
I mean,
Yeah,
Would you like to
and
add to
I
that?
I
agree
will
with
differ on
Tabasam.
this.
No, wait. So let me add to Tabassum and then probably you can take it up. See, I'm
Yeah.
also an expert, so I just want to give my inputs into that. See, Tabassum, from our side, the compliance team is no different. CI team's rooted to you as a SAN compliance team who has to take end-to-end responsibility for that, right? And you must have heard it, and you must have. I think I have gone through this, in which I have faced multiple audits, in which people are, you know, actually coming back to us, and we do need to do the reconciliation completely. SAM team does that usually, and they present the report to the CI office itself. Compliance team is always there, but you can't rely on those because they're different departments within the infrastructure team, and they will not come back to you with their correct numbers. You need to go to them several times, and then the correct numbers will come back to you. And auditor OEM has already done their script. They know that these are overutilization. That's why they're coming to you. Otherwise, they will never come to you. So there is something on the compliance part, but somewhere down the line, it has to be led by somebody. So that's why my next question to the panel: who should be the person who should lead it, probably from your side?
Yeah. Param, according to me, see, like audit, when you say like audit readiness, it cannot be just a SAM operational task. Okay. So what SAM team does is like we build the governance. We can keep on building the governance framework, but whose responsibility is to tie it to? According to me, see, I can give a real example, especially for the ladies. See, the value always matters. End of the day. For example, what we did during our when we are young, our dad used to spend a lot of hard earned money on us. What we do, we take it for granted. We don't care while spending the money, but when we start earning, the value changes. So what I'm trying to say is like, if a business unit who is deploying the software doesn't face any financial consequences of the audit penalty, then what will happen? We keep on, as a SAM team, operation team, we keep on building the governance, but at the same time, they will be overriding the governance framework, whatever we built. So we cannot, SAM alone, what is that, manage what we did not build, or we cannot, we did not select the software, or it's not budgeted by us, it's not funded by us. So according to me, the true ownership, accountability should be on the, and the true ownership should be tied to the person or the team who holds the valid. Then there comes audit and the audit readiness.
I can relate Anupama points with something little funny that there is a concept of BYOL, bring your own license, and I can make it in short words PYOP, pay your own penalty to the department who is non-compliant.
No, yeah, I understand, but again, penalty putting a penalty on our team, same team in the organization, may not be a good decision. But instead of that, make them accountable. Same how we face the audit. Sam team, we always face the audit, saying like, okay, whenever there is audit, the blame comes to the Sam. What I meant is like, even not just the Sam team should be involved here. Even let the deployment team, other team also take the responsibility and the accountability of the audit readiness.
Hmm. I agree that, but if
That is
there is
not going
no,
to happen. Yes.
yeah,
No, I was to say like then that this is something like if company get on loss, and then in place of CIO or CXO, we should be same team going to take the responsibility. Company is making loss. So we have different criterias, and we should be owning our processes. You can't say like CIO CTO is always going to uh, take responsibility for SAM operations or whatever the audit readiness we have, right? So I am not saying that we are not dependent on the other, we need support from that, but at how far the concern is about owning it, it is always being Sam team who is going to take the ownership of this. That's, I mean, somebody has to take front line, right? You can't say like, okay, we have been supported by CIO, CXO, any manager, any team, they will be there, but they will be as a backend. Like you need support, you reach out to them. You need data, you go to infra team. You need any support from cloud team, you go to admins for servers. But again, who is going to be front ending, who is going to be responsible? It's always a SAM team with respect to audit. I'm not saying they are not getting support from the CIO or CXO, that's fine. But if it's about audit, you have to be prepared. It's your kit, your ground to play. You have to show yourself like, okay, how you are going to defend, and you should be ready by implementing those governance processes in advance. Like nobody is going to tackle, every responsibility is defined, everybody is going to do their work. But again, that's your responsibility to make that happen. At least this what I think.
Fair points into that. I would like to conclude on this point on one parameter is like, see, it is driven by the process and policies, right? So if you have right policies, you will push the right processes in place. And once you have the process right place, then you need to have a governance framework around that for every department so that the utilization is rooted through the right team, SAM team. The topic on shadow IT it's everything which has come into picture is because they are not following the process. So once we have that clear and we are actually rooting for it, there would be no, there would be still something which is coming up. I know that because the licensing models are changing with the open source moving to the licensing model, right? In Java, everyone knows about those. But still, we need to have 90% control on those. We have that the compliance would be better, and probably you need to work only 10 times, probably the 10% of what we have been doing in the past couple of years. I think that's what we need to conclude with this, for this round. Anyone else wants to add before we conclude for this? If you have anything else we'd like to
now we have everyone's opinion now.
add. So I'm not going to detail. We have a lot of, I wanted to have one word answer to everything, but still, because this is related to the AI era, so I want every panel members to give one word against the topic of AI. So we'll start from Anupama. But
Yeah,
AI does.
me,
One word only.
yeah. Okay, for me, it's a wildfire because it's spreading across the enterprise without any governance control. So I would define AI as a wildfire.
For me, AI is a game changer. It doesn't fix problems, it makes your current situation louder. So, if you have a good data, good foundation, great results, um, everything great. But then, if you have a bad data, it will be very confident to show you the wrong answers.
My keyword would be use it with extra consciousness.
Exactly.
In India, at least, the
From my point
example
of
is that
view, it will.
Google Maps cannot be used blindly, but with consciousness, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, Tabassum was saying.
Yeah, sorry, Sandeep, I interrupted. So from my point of view, it will be transformational.
Okay.
Am I only one
Before
is left? Okay.
yeah, question. That's what I was
No,
asking.
yeah. I mean, for AI, I'm little skeptic, but I can say it's an intelligence, right? It going to help you do miracles, but again, you have to be very cautious, like Sandeep said.
Sure. I think we had covered this. Before we go to the next segment, I'm just trying to, get hold of something which I need to give it to the community, which I have done in my last podcast also. So I have launched my website. I have been, continuously working on this so that people should have an exposure to it. This is only for everyone who can just go into this and probably whatever inputs they need for ITAM for their normal transformation. I have my books listed over here. My new book will be coming next month, so I'm already working on it. Probably it will be coming, mid of next month. But the important thing which I have done for the ITAM community is I had put some probably trainings models in my YouTube channel, and these are available directly with one click. All three, and there are two. Going to launch one on the ITAM Foundation with an 19770. That's a framework which is required for implementing as an auditor over there. So you that would be uploaded also into this in the YouTube channel itself. So why I wanted to go through this so that you know that where you need to you know directly go to the channel, or probably you can come over here and get clicked and go into that. Even the current podcast which we are doing right now is being captured over here. So you can just click on this and you can directly over there. So everything is being mapped into the website so that everything is into single place. This is my separate podcast which we when initially started. We went for an audio version. So the audio podcast as well as the new episode which I am uploading is available over there. It's also available on my YouTube channel also. So and I'm why I'm running through this because last time I hardly gave 2 minutes to that, but I'm not sure how many people have actually utilized it. These are the articles which are available on LinkedIn newsletter, which I'm also uploading as a blogs over there. But most important is this is my other channel. You can just click and if you want to subscribe, you can follow my other channel over there. But the important is the blogspot. So this blogspot actually gives you all the articles which has been listed, and probably probably for the ITAM community in LinkedIn. I'm putting a copies of those over there, so you can just scroll through those, right? And everything is available, and I have my LinkedIn, YouTube. Everything is in this website. This is for the community, right? If you have anything with new courses being launched, you can just come over here and just surf through it, right? I'll go back. Let's
Yeah,
move
just to
back
add
to
on
the.
this for the listener, actually, Param. So I just wanted to share my experience. So I got an opportunity to read your book, I Can Reimagine. I think I'd shared that for last time as well. But if you are looking to change your mindset from a SAM operations or maybe item operations guide to a leadership, that book is a must. I mean, that has changed my concept, my thought process around item, and this is totally a new era of item. So guys, I would suggest to go through that book. It's available on Amazon as well. I think you can get it from the Kindle as well. So, but I always prefer that book wallet type. But again, so if you are a more of a techie guy, you can read it on the Kindle as well. That's a very good read actually.
Yeah, it's a
Sure.
good one, Param. So if you can share us the link, so it will be helpful for all the audience as well.
I'll put the link into that while we go for the next debate. I'll put the links probably, right.
Okay.
And I think best thing is if they can subscribe to my author page, then they will come to know what the new books, because I would be going with edition 2 of Item Reimagine, not right now, but in a couple of months, because currently I'm working on another book right now.
Now,
But
truly
that
speaking, I
would
didn't
be
got chance to read other books, but again, that's in my list. Right, I'm going to read other books
that's
as well.
fine. So those are more
Yeah,
into personal transformation because
yeah,
uh, you know I have seen the people are very technical into ITAM and they are not actually working towards a personal transformation. And I've been reading more than 20 to 25 books in a year. I've been doing from last couple of years. So my input was to give it to the back to the community. That's why the books has been published now. It's coming, every 2 months I target a book to be done. And but I'm working in the back end and see. So for everyone, it's like I'm doing my PhD in agentic AI right now. So with that, there is a lot of scope which is coming. I'm doing a lot of research. So probably that will help the community. And it is in ISO 19770. So that's why I have launched the course also on ISO 19770. So that will help the community as a framework. They can evolve their mind and they can understand how it works in the back end. I think most of the people have never read it, so that training will help them. It's only 15-page PPT, and I'll explain it down the line. People will understand. So probably this by end of this week, you will get this course listed on my YouTube channel.
Good, good.
Okay, let's move to the next thing. I know that we have debated. I just wanted the reason for deviation is like people should not come and listen only. They should learn from those things, and along with that, if they have any reference material, they should also learn. It's not for me only. Like Shubham has started his channel, and we are doing a collaboration also. Probably down the line, I'll make him a collaborator along with me, so that each other videos are available on both the channels, and they can also, once they are logging to me, you can see my videos, and once they log to my channel, they can see his videos also. So that would also help each other, right? Anyhow, let's move to the next debate. This is very critical one. I think Shweta is the commander in this, right? So we have, the AI audit readiness accelerator, whether it's a new risk or it is actually accelerator for our work which has been doing in the past, probably last 20 years or so. Everything was on, before the tool we are doing all in Excel, then the tools came, but it is not giving the right visibility right now. I mean, even I don't feel like that unless you implement with the, trustworthy data, and then you have a compliance framework along that, how the life cycle goes. You can never be in a situation that you are 100% confident that your data is accurate, right? So, so we'll go back to the question for this debate. Like everyone says AI will solve compliance. Will it? So it's open to the forum now.
Mm, so my answer is absolutely yes. It is an accelerator. If your inventory is a mess, AI will help you understand your mess much faster. So it will give you kind of a visibility where you're going wrong, where there is a mess, where there are duplicates. It will ask you to correct those things. And what excites me is it's not the chat GPT where we are using it for writing the emails. What excites me is like practical item use cases. AI can now analyze the contract. It can identify license risk, and you distribute the software automatically nowadays. You can predict the renewals. It's just giving the alerts like 60 days, 90 days, 180 days due. So you can detect SaaS sprawl maybe and um, generate audit evidences. So many vendors nowadays are already positioning AI assistants to answer the audit, entitlement, and licensing questions through natural language instead of manual reporting. So I actually recently saw a contract review exercise involving hundreds of pages of agreements, EULAs and all. So historically, that would have taken weeks if you can understand. Nowadays, using AI-assisted analysis, the team is identifying the renewals, the obligations, the country restrictions, everything, the potential risks in a fraction of the time. So, however, um, I would say the other side of it as well. The AI without governance is kind of a dangerous. So, we need to be using it wisely, as you all said in the last rapid fire. So, in the recent Gartner guidance warns that poor governance could force many organizations to roll back the AI agents because they deployed faster than they governed them. So never start fixing before you understand what you are fixing. So that's my take on that. Yep,
She's in
Param.
support of it. Uh, do we have who are not very comfortable coming AI coming into picture these days? Anyone from the firm? Shubham, you have any inputs from your side?
Yeah, I
Are you
can
missing
add.
something?
Yeah, I can add a sentence. I Shweta, because what we think is like AI can fix all our bad habits. But for me, AI is an accelerator. I completely agree with Shweta what she has mentioned. So if organization already has a mature asset management foundation, then AI can optimize the insights and give us find the optimization and give us the insights in a seconds actually, and so it elevates the maturity to hyper efficiency. That's what AI can do. But what we think is like, okay, AI is going to fix all our bad habits. No. So when we have the poor governance and the messy tracking, again AI is going to it will be like automated chores again.
It's actually a mindset shift in ITAM. So everything is getting evolved, and the licensing terms are getting evolved. So why not ITAM the processes, right? So we should be, but then with a proper foundation and proper governance.
For
Otherwise,
me, I think for me
mhm.
it's like too early to say like if it's an escalator or a new risk, because like it's still evolving, right? We know like I have done miracles. I have seen ELP reports which I used to make in 3 to 4 days, and AI doing it for in 4 to 5 hours, and that too much accurate. But I have also seen him messing up, right? I have seen like AI getting with anything and everything, like which is not required. It even doesn't analyze the data like a human does, right? For example, I can say like I can, by the kind of experience I have, I can see the data and I can say there is something wrong with the data, right? I have that instinct. I don't know how to explain that. But when you put that data into AI, it will give you a report, whether it's right, accurate, not matter. So it's again the thought process behind that is it needs to be trained, and nobody is talking about the kind of expense or the revenue which we have to put into AI, right? I understand like it's like comparing like is jet is better than an airplane, right? It is, but uh, do you have that kind of money? Do you think yeah you are going to have that jet flight, right? And I mean you are going to pay that much of money for now for these kind of activities? That is another question, right? So at least for now, for me it's like in a testing phase. It's not a accelerator, it's not a risk. It's where we are in a testing phase, and it's a era where everything is going to change. We are going to move to AI, but let's see what the final result will be. So
Yeah, it
shadow
is.
IT in AI is a new concern, right? You are doing everything, and but at the back end, your team goes and through some Chat GPT or API integration, they integrated some third party tool which you are not aware of, right? And they have integrated it through that particular AI, and they now they can search it like how to integrate without having admin access. And now these are kind of criteria they are using. So that is again a challenge for us, and new again new software coming in, new process coming in. We have to define governance, we have to understand the process. So I will be in middle of it, like it might be accelerator, it might be a risk, but for now it's helping us, and somewhere we are still evolving on this one.
Mhm.
So I'll close my
Yeah,
thoughts on
it
that.
depends. It depends. You said right, without the right
Yes.
data and without, uh, I mean, too much of money investing in such AI and all. I would say it depends on the organization, how the organization's maturity is. So you have got that assessment done on your organization, on the data, on the processes that you're working on the tool that you're working on. That assessment is done, and you have seen the data, you've fixed the data, then it is worth investing in the AI tools and
Right.
on the right tools, I would say. So maybe before adopting to AI, we need to work on
Wait
such
and
things.
watch.
Yeah,
At least I think.
no, we should get ready for that. I would say. I mean, work on your data. Anyways, you will have to work on the data because you are getting the audits, you are preparing the ELPs. So you're doing everything manually, which is time consuming. So um, with all of that, fix your foundational data, build trust in your SAM tool, whatever you are buying, and put efforts in standardizing SAM, I mean, processes, then layer AI on top. So that processes, when the
I mean
processes are clear,
that
that
goes
will
for I
work.
think that goes for everything, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
simple line which is garbage in, faster garbage out. That is a very standard term which we been using in IT like for last 2 decades, and that I think is still valid, right? It's all about like what you are going to feed in AI. The the point what I'm trying to say here ki, is it worth it to invest that much of money into it and getting the result which might not be. Again, you have to manually, right? Let's say you created an ELP report from AI, but at this very stage I have to revalidate it again for sense, because I don't have trust on this, right? I have to do it again. So that's what I'm saying, I'm in the testing phase, at least for my organization where I stand at present. So once I have the confidence into it, maybe I'm going to say like it's an accelerator for me, because presently it's not an accelerator. It's like, because I have to do it from AI to just validate, and then I have to validate, I have to do double task, right? So for now it's a kind of risk. And the shadow IT thing which I am saying, that is real, at least in AI. So believe me, where I stand, we are more of a technical giant industry in a world, and how it is happening. Those technical guys has put up in against SAM team. Like, you don't know what crazy thing they can do. They are just going to one of the chat GPT AI, and they are integrating it through some Oracle databases which is outside the scope, and you don't have anything you can track it, right? So that's another pain area for us, like the kind of governance we are facing there. So that's what I'm saying. For me it's still in a like development phase. I need to learn maybe more about AI, but
Yeah, Shubham. I think it's a case with all of us because we
No, no,
talk a lot.
let's cut short. We have taken this debate to a greater level.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I will
Okay,
do one
okay.
thing. Yeah, so let's, because we have one
interest
more.
of time.
In the interest of
Yeah,
time, it's already exceeded some time on that. So there are 2 points which has come, that it either the AI is simplifying maturity, or it is it is simplifying chaos. So you need to look at the angle in which it is going, right? So because I can give you one on a lighter mode, one joke on this. AI audit during AI agent during audit, vendor auditor asks, "Can you provide deployment evidence to me?" So the agent comes back, certainly. Here are 12 dashboards, 7 year of history, and user analytics, cost optimization, recommendations, and a draft contract negotiation strategy. And vendor auditors just say, I only asked for a screenshot, right? He wanted a screenshot, and the AI agent is giving a lot of things to him. So that's how the AI works. So you need to look into that. What parameters you need to cover in that, right? And what is helping you, right? So we can debate throughout the day on AI, because it's a hot topic everywhere.
Hot topic,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I think we are through with all the sections. Before we move to an end, I think we have already exceeded the time on most of the debates. Still, I would like to have a final debate. This would be only 3 minutes. We'll give it to that. That will close in next probably 2 minutes. Will traditional software audits exist 5 years from now, or there would be some changes with you and Vislaj? So everyone take 1 minute or two, and then probably you can give 1 minute, or you can just give in a yes or no. So we'll see which is the better one.
I'll go then. So for me, like traditional audit is going to die in next 4 to 5 years. At least that's what I think, because it is going to be replaced by automation, continuous compliance monitoring, which is actually much harder to defend against. Right? We have seen cloud coming in, then the portal, the AI consumption, and everything, and that is being tracked in their internal tools. So I think that is going to be exit. That surprise audit thing, now which you get a letter, okay, you are going to be audited. That is going to die soon. At least that's what my understanding is.
Hmm. Okay. Anyone else want to add? And it's not necessary everyone should answer on that. Probably you can take one word also, yes or no, would be sufficient for that. Because this is, it's your opinion. It might not be
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Exist, but
So
not in the same way, I would say.
yeah, for
So
me, like catch if you can style of traditional on-premises might die, but the end of the audits will not stop. I mean, there is no end for the audits, but the traditional will obviously will die.
okay.
Then for me, it's yes, it will get die, but it will be different in future. So the audit will not disappear. It will become a continuous process, but on a different way, I would say.
Sandeep, you have been silent for some time. I need you to speak.
Yeah, from my perspective, audit, or I would say fear of audit, should be there. always. At least it is not happening. If it is not happening on ground, then also it should be in place so that teams can proactively always analyze their compliance posture from licensing point of view. So it has to be there.
Okay, last, let's move to Shweta.
I already answered.
So you want the audit to happen, or you don't want it to happen next year?
I don't want to happen, but they will happen, is what I'm saying. They will happen, but it will be in a different way. Mostly, I mean, now it is data driven, but maybe in the future it will be they'll they'll have the data already because
So
everyone will have a
Param, that's a good one actually. We five all agreed at least to a one,
yeah.
right?
Okay, I think let's close on this point. Everyone has
Yeah.
given their input. So it's like sound everyone agrees audit won't disappear, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
But they will fundamentally change over the period of time because of
Yes.
these new technologies coming in. So I just want to give my final takeaways before we close for the day. Uh, so there are a lot. Probably one sentence I'll give my from my side. It's what is the biggest survival strategy for the next 5 years? Either you can give one word to it, but only one word, not more than it, because we need to close on this. Or you want me to skip this part because we
We can
have
share
already.
our thoughts. I think one words. For me, it's like a contract intelligence. As a SAM guy, I think that's where AI is for me.
Okay. Okay. So I'll give something like AI powered visibility you have in the next 5 years, probably, and you can have executive accountability, cloud governance, and continuous compliance in the next 5 years. So this is my viewpoint. So that is the final takeaway for this podcast with how vendor audits needs to be survived in a AI and cloud era. And I would like to thank everyone, the listeners, the panel members for joining this podcast and giving their views towards these audits. I know that in the long run, this audit will continue because OE will not give away with that, but the way it has been performed, it would be changing. So that's how we need to take the final point as a gist of this discussion. And there would be more things coming up. AI will generally evolve over the period of time. From it started from a generic one, so Gen AI probably, and then to agentic now. And agentic is will create a lot of ruckus. It's not controlled yet. So thank you everyone for joining this podcast, and I'll thank you my panel also for joining this. This is your
And,
host Paramji Jaggi signing off.
and thanks, Param, for having us. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank
all.
you
Bye
all.
bye.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye.